Subjects of the Empire, please welcome CEO of SMortorsports and Director of SMortorsports Speedway, Sergio Morales, joined by his pet dog, Biggie. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our very first press conference here at SMortorsports. My name is Sergio Morales. I am the CEO of SMortorsports and driver of the number 12 Verizon Chevrolet in the AMCI Theaters IndyCar Series. Nice to see every one of you here at SMortorsports HQ, here at the SMortorsports Speedway, which is set to open to the public very soon. We are nearing completion of the racetracks itself, of the multiple racetracks here. It's, as I mentioned, a 3-in-1 circuit. It'll have a short course, a long speedway, and a Grand Prix circuit. And we're actually looking forward to using the short track first pretty soon. So that actually leads me nicely into our Season 3 schedule for the AMCI. First off, before anything, thank you so much for your support for AMCI Season 2. I'm really glad to report it was a great success and it warranted the creation of a third season of the AMCI. I'm so sorry to do this to you, dog. So for Season 3, we'll actually be making several changes to the schedule to keep it exciting. So we're going to quickly go through that schedule, including some tracks that we'll be debuting at and some other changes throughout. First, the usual, as has been the case the past 2 seasons, the third season of the AMCI will kick off at Indianapolis with the Grand Prix and the Indy 500 immediately following suit, the Indy 500 being a double points paying event, the only one of the season to do so. Next up, we will be debuting at 2 new tracks, 2 out of, I believe, 4 that will be making their debut in Season 3. So those would be Portland in the Pacific Northwest, which was overdue for a race in Season 2, but unfortunately we didn't get to due to time constraints. So to compensate for that, we actually made it the 3rd race of AMCI Season 3, so we can give it to them as early as possible. As well, our homecoming event was moved from Auto Club Speedway to Long Beach, and that mainly comes down to Auto Club being reconfigured, so we can't race there for the time being. We look forward to doing so once the reconfiguration is complete. For the time being, however, we looked at Long Beach and determined it could actually be a good venue for our homecoming event. So as such, we look forward to racing in Long Beach pretty soon. So those are your first 4 races. We'll be heading to Bristol Motor Speedway again in Season 3 after a very successful event in Season 2. But this time we'll be trying out heat racing over there. And before we do that, we're actually planning a experimental heat racing event at SMortorsports Speedway right here on the short track. So we look forward to doing that. That will be a non-points paying event, but still just something to experiment before we actually do it for real at Bristol Motor Speedway. So there's that for you. We'll also be collaborating with the TRF 2000 IndyCar Series, which is another big IndyCar stop motion racing series. And we'll be heading to Dover Motor Speedway for that, which is their home track. And we look forward to collaborating with them on that as well. Next up, we'll be heading to our international events, those being Canada, Australia, which makes its AMCI debut, South Korea at the Korea International Autodrome, where twice we'll be taking over as title sponsors. And on that note, Throttle House, a big car YouTube channel, they will be taking over as title sponsors of the Canadian Grand Prix. Fight the New Drug will stay involved with SMortorsports, but they will be sponsoring the Formula S event. More on that in a little bit. So Canada, Throttle House, Australia, Ford Australian Grand Prix, South Korea, the twice Hyundai and Korean Grand Prix, and lastly, the championship finale for Season 3 will be at Mobility Resort Motegi in Japan, which we really look forward to. It's a fan favorite for the AMCI, and it's the first time the Indy cars will crown a champion outside the United States. So we really look forward to that one. So with AMCI Season 3 out of the way for right now, let's talk about Formula S. This was something we had just announced at the conclusion of AMCI Season 2 at the final race here at Auto Club Speedway. And this is a very, very exciting project for us. Formula S, just a basic rundown of what it is. Formula S will be a sort of a mock of actual Grand Prix racing. The cars will look very akin to real-life Grand Prix race cars. However, there will be a spec series as far as performance and horsepower and all that goes, Everyone will be in equal machinery, and as such, no one team will have an outright insane advantage, as it does happen occasionally in real-life Grand Prix racing. So it'll be a spec series. We'll be traveling to several racetracks around the world. We will be hosting a race here in Los Angeles, which we really look forward to. We'll also be racing in Mexico, in Canada, in Brazil, among other destinations. Keep an eye out as we announce the full Formula S schedule in the coming days/weeks. As for the teams, each team, just like real-life Grand Prix racing, we will be having 10 teams of 2 drivers each, and 6 of those teams are akin to their real-life counterparts. 4 other teams are original to Formula S, those being Namyam Gyeongma, which represents Hyundai, Stallion TG Motors, which represents Ford, Challenger Racing, which represents Dodge, and lastly, Audi Sportrennen, which represents Audi Sport. Audi, of all those 4 aforementioned ones, Audi, of course, is set to make their Formula 1 debut in 2026, so we thought we'd bring them into Formula S so they can start experimenting with Grand Prix racing before they hit the racetrack for real in a few years' time. As for the other 3, we decided to bring them in by virtue of there are scenarios exploring possible real-life entries for all those teams in the short-term / long-term future, which I honestly would love to see. Those are your fantasy teams. Their real-life teams, however, will be Mercedes as A-Class GMA Racing, Ferrari as Team Thoroughbred, Red Bull as Tech Energy Racing, Alpine as A113 Racing Team, Aston Martin as the Vantage GMA Racing Team, and McLaren as Ayrton Automotive. So those are your 6 real-life teams. As I mentioned, Hyundai, Ford, Dodge, and Audi will make up the 4 fantasy teams. So those are your 10 teams. Sign-ups for Formula S will be opening up soon. Stay tuned for that. You can actually follow us on Instagram at SMortorsports, as it is detailed right here. Just in the same text and all that. You can find us on Instagram over there. You can also visit us online, smortorsports.weebly.com, which is our new website. It's been updated from the original AMCI website. So definitely have a look at our Instagram and our website so you can stay up to date for sign-ups for Formula S, as well as sign-ups for AMCI Season 3. And I think that is about it. I think I've covered everything. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Once again, thank you all for coming to this press conference, and I hope to see you all on the racetracks very soon. Thank you.